My meds? Maybe you should try to mind your own business. Don't you dare try to make me look crazy when we all know you don't like my sister. Maybe that's why you're willing to help your dad come after my family. Instead of trying to make me shiver in my boots over something you have no control over, remember what you can control, how the jury perceives me. Next month, I'm going to trial. Put all that aggression into preserving my freedom. Don't worry. You forced a successful defense attorney to represent you. I always wondered if that temper of yours would end our lives. I prayed that God wouldn't let it happen. But on the other hand, I gotta keep in mind that God gives every single one of us free will and doesn't get in the way of the consequences we face. I ain't going to prison, Quinn. Not one prison won't give me nowhere to run. Why do you seem so miserable, Harley? Getting bored of me already? Not at all. I'm just stressed. Want to talk about it? I'm just defending a complicated person. Guess this conversation can't go any further because it's confidential. All I can tell you is that trouble follows my client everywhere they go. I'm gonna take a wild guess. Are you referring to Devontae Torres? Heidi, what could you possibly be in my office for? I wanted to know if Owen Grant was still digging to find out why Yvette dropped the charges against my innocent son. Spill, how are you gonna waste both of our time today, Quinlan? By asking you to help me take down Adaku and Devontae. You usually trust me to be the one packing whenever I'm around. Well, since Devontae is unpredictable, I think you could use the backup. You've pushed him to try to unleash his wrath upon us when you pursued legal action against him, Jeremiah, so I want to be prepared. Why do you want to speak with me? What happened? You did nothing wrong, JJ. Your mother and I need to ask you something. We want to check to see if you finished taking your prescribed meds or not. No comment. If Devontae is giving you so much grief, then why can't you just drop him as a client? It's a bit too late to do that with his trial coming up soon, Finnegan. With Devontae as your client, it just sucks that I can't wish you luck. Don't forget that you can still wish me luck when I fight to make sure you get joint custody of Kiev. Just the thought of you taking over the courtroom makes me even more infatuated with you. But most of all, I can't wait for the custody battle to end so that I can publicly show affection to you. Are you more concerned about keeping custody of your son or spending more public time with me? Wanda and I have it covered, Heidi. You know where the door is. Are you not concerned, Udell? Concerned about what? Concerned about how close Owen Grant has become with your wife. If you're gonna try and ask me to turn Elvira's diary into the police, then I suggest you save your breath. I won't ask that of you, Ben. Nothing I say or do will convince you otherwise. That's clear. To make a long story short, Pacho and I are trying to turn Devontae and Adaku against each other. Then why do you want my help? Because I need your help digging up the information which proves that Adaku is Kalu Denjuma's daughter. Oh no. JJ, what's the matter? She got to you. No one got to us. Who are you talking about? Nichelle. Her dad convinced her to come after us. And she wants to do that by making you think that I lost my mind. Baby, we don't think you've lost your mind. Which is why it's so important that you make sure to still take your meds. That way you can make sense of everything. I do see sense. Devontae is a demon. He sent those demons to bother me, and he wants to take all of us out. Why can't I want two things at the same time? I never said you couldn't. Glad we're still on the same page. I'll always fight for my own son, unlike my own father. In fact, I wish he gave up custody of me. Most of all, I wish that he never fought me to begin with. Fought you? What do you mean by that, Finnegan? Owen and Wanda are friends. Nothing more. I don't know. Owen makes it seem like they're pretty close. What are you trying to imply, Heidi? I'm not implying anything, but I can't help but think back to the beginning of the year. It must have hurt knowing that Wanda knew that Elvira cheated on you with Devante this entire time. Not only were you processing that shocking bit of information, but you were also dealing with the legal stress of your daughter lying about my son. Owen could have taken advantage of that. And why can't you do that on your own? Because Adaku is my boss and won't expose herself on the network she owns. My suggestion is that you find the information and show it to a rival network where she can't deny the truth. It will be the push Devante and Adaku need to turn against one another. Are you asking me to expose Adaku for the greater good? Or is this your way of keeping your criminal brother from biting the dust? JJ, it's okay. Devante won't harm us. He's a demon dad. Demons have tricks, and if we're not careful, then he'll get us. But remember what God says in his word. If we resist the devil, then he'll flee from us. All you need to do is trust in God and not pay Devante any mind if he really is a demon. I'm gonna be right back. Dad, no, please don't go. Don't worry, son. I'll be right back. On top of that, I'll be careful. I'm gonna get his medication filled up, and the first thing tomorrow, he's speaking with his psychologist. I'll be back, JJ. I love you. How about you go to sleep, okay, baby? I promise I won't leave your side until your father comes back home. My childhood isn't one that I speak a lot about. It's not pretty. Whatever happened, you definitely survived it. Would you believe me if I told you that I was born in the south side of Valley Park, Harley? I see why you don't really speak about it. From what I've heard, the south side of Valley Park is a forbidden word in this town. But what does that have to do with your parents? My parents were the scum of the earth. My mom never spoke fondly of me or towards me. As for my father, well, I was his personal punching bag. The sick thing is that he didn't have a drinking problem, so he didn't have that excuse. Oh my word. Finnegan, I'm so sorry. Does Terry know about this? All she knows is that my parents are trash. She never cared to ask, and I never cared to tell her the details. You don't have to tell me the details, Finnegan. I guess you never looked back when you entered the police academy? Exactly. When I heard that they lost their lives during a robbery gone wrong, I didn't know whether to throw a party or wait until they were buried so that I could celebrate on their grave. I vowed never to be like them, to be a better parent. I clearly failed at being a better husband, but I'm glad I found you, Harley. I'm glad you found me too. Just make your point and leave. My point is that Owen could try to still be Wanda's hero by searching for the so-called truth of me holding something over your heads, when in reality, your daughter lied about my son. Just my 2 cents. Zeke wouldn't have to deal with the Denjuma organization if he wasn't reeled into it. Denjumas or no Denjumas, Zeke had a choice to make, and he chose to make a quick buck at the expense of others. Ben, are you gonna help me or not? I've gotta go. You know where to find me when you have an answer. Devante. Good to see you, Shelley. Is your husband home?